So, as of right now, August 9th, 2021, free agency, it's kind of like dying down. There's only a few moves that might happen, which we'll talk about later. But I'm just going to give my thoughts real quick on all the big ones. This is going to be a quick video, kind of just recapping what's happened so far in free agency. If anything happens like before this gets released, I'll record another part to that. So, yeah. So let's just get started. So let's get the biggest one out of the way. Russell Westbrook was traded to the Lakers for KCP, Kuzma, and Montrezl Harrell for I think some draft picks too. At the time, it looked pretty terrible because they had a deal to get Buddy Hield lined up, and it also seemed like the Lakers that was like their main move. They weren't gonna get any other pieces, so the spacing would have been horrible. But then about a week or two later, when free agency actually started, they got Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard back again for like the third time, Malik Monk on a minimum, I think, or something. He's a good shooter. Kendrick Nunn on a minimum, and Trevor Ariza and that pretty much changes the whole Westbrook trade because now it's seen as a W because they did what Westbrook needs and what LeBron needs and just surround them with shooters. And ideally, when LeBron comes off the court this year, it should not be as bad as it was last year in the playoffs, where they just look like they don't know what they're doing pretty much because Melo can create for himself, Nunn can kind of, but especially Westbrook, who's the definition of a floor raiser. He can pretty much carry a team's offense if he's the only one there. So they are back in the championship contender range, where before the Westbrook, I was like, I don't know about this. This seems pretty terrible. Moving on from that, now it's another potential championship move. I don't know how much it really helps, but Kyle Lowry is now on the Miami Heat. They also got PJ Tucker from the Bucks. Surprisingly, I thought he should have stayed, but whatever. He's on the Heat now, and they're both really good deals. Sadly, they had to get rid of Goran Dragic for contract purposes too. So he went to the Raptors, but we'll get into that situation in a bit. So Kyle Lowry, he's on the Heat now, and apparently, like, there could have been tampering, but the NBA's not really going to do anything probably because players talk to each other all the time and stuff. So this deal didn't really surprise anyone, I think, if you were paying attention, because there were, I think, 2-3 days before, everyone was pushing their Lowry to the Heat agenda, and it got to the point where I think it was announced like right when free agency started, or at least 2 minutes before or after or something. So yeah, Lowry's on the Heat. This should get them to at least the second round this year. They're a top 4 or 5 team in the East. The East is really top heavy this year, so that really helps them a lot. Do I see them winning a championship? No, not really. I still think I'm not sure if the Bucks and them would be more competitive now, but the the Nets, that's the team that will probably beat them. They could probably beat them in 5 or 6, probably 6. But yeah, that's what I think of the Lowry and Tucker to Miami. We'll get into Goran Dragic in a bit. Moving on to the team that I think made the biggest leap in free agency, like where they're ranked and stuff, the Chicago Bulls. They went crazy this offseason. First, they got Lonzo like the second free agency started, which also it's to mention this, the battle between like Woj and Shams. This year, Shams has just been kicking Woj's ass like it's not even close. Woj kind of made up for it after, but Shams got all the big moves pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty funny. Some people say Woj is washed, which is hilarious. Here's some memes or whatever. I don't know, but I'm on Team Shams just because Woj just looks annoying, to be honest, and he is kind of annoying, but still. Okay, no Woj bombs yet, so that's not as fun. But DeRozan, he's on the Bulls now. Um, oh, also Alex Caruso, who is on the Bulls now. So now they are really good defensively with Lonzo and Caruso. So Zach Levine, he's not even gonna guard like the other team's best guard at all, which is really good. You it helps hiding him since his defense isn't that great. But Lonzo should really thrive, I think, because the offense he's most likely gonna run it, and then Levine he can learn how to do off ball stuff, which I'm pretty sure he can do. I don't know. I don't watch too many Bulls games, but yeah, it's a really good deal for the Bulls. Um, Another move, the Warriors got Otto Porter Jr. and Iguodala. So insert iconic clip here.
Of everyone on Golden State, open shot, fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth. You better hit it. I want Iguodala.
But the Otto Porter Jr. deal, I think that's really good for them. They need bench depth, and when he's healthy, he's a really good player, someone good to come off the bench. A good Kelly Oubre replacement because he went to the Hornets. Yeah, he went to the Hornets, so obviously that's like the most light-skinned team ever assembled with him, LaMelo, and probably LiAngelo. So that's going to be funny. But back to the Warriors, they got Iguodala, a Finals MVP. For some reason, he won that. But we'll talk about that someday. I really like what the Warriors did, but they should have done more. Technically, they signed a Supermax player, but we'll get into that later. Okay, so as I'm looking at it, those are pretty much all the big championship moves I got here. So now we're going to get into the re-signings and extensions. One that I forgot to put here, Bobby Portis, he re-signed for 2 years. He could have got a lot more money, but he really loves the fans of Milwaukee, and they love him, so good for them. Another re-signing that will ultimately lead to a championship is obviously Richaun Holmes re-signing with the Kings. So the Kings are going to win the championship this year, obviously. But on a serious note, I'm pretty happy about that. I really wanted Holmes back. So yeah, that's my segment about the Kings. Other than that, we did okay. I'm still waiting on some deals, but they did fine, I guess. They just didn't screw up a lot. Extensions that were signed. Curry got 4 years, like 214 million, something like that. I like that for the Warriors. I'd like him to retire a Warrior, but it's really up to him. It's pretty good. They're gonna get more pieces probably at the trade deadline or next year or even this offseason. I don't know if they pull some magical trade. But a funny story, they tried to get Ben Simmons, I think, and Daryl Morey wanted, what was it? He wanted Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, and like 2 or 3 picks. Oh, he also wanted Moses Moody, and they just hung up. So that's pretty funny. KD got a 4-year, 198 mil, I think, something around that range. That's really good for the Nets because you don't want him and Kyrie to leave in one off season. That would just be a nightmare. Okay, so Jimmy Butler also got 4-year. He got a max contract, which is cool. Like, he's gonna be like 36 though. I don't know how good he's gonna be when he's 36 years old when that deal's up. So this could bite them in the butt, but like, what are you gonna do if you're the Heat? You can't just let him walk. He just let you do a finals run like 10 months ago. So good for the Heat, even if it in hindsight, it might be bad, but it's a good deal right now. Chris Paul, he got 4 years, surprisingly. So what's he gonna be, like 40, and he's gonna make like a ton of money? Um, I I don't know how to feel about that. They should have just offered him 2, maybe even 3, but like 4 is just a really long time, especially for Chris Paul. He won't be that bad by the end of it because his game ages pretty well, I think. But they've kind of locked themselves with this Paul and Booker backcourt for the next 4 years, so that's great. Kawhi reportedly agreed to I think a 2-year deal where the second year he can opt out. He's re-signing, so good for them. But I wanted him on the Mavericks or Blazers or somewhere else other than the Clippers, just because they're the Clippers. Sorry, Clipper fans, but I don't know if you guys exist anyway. So, but you guys can cheer because you got Reggie Jackson for I think 2 years. 2 years. He was really good. I would have loved to see him with an actual championship contender. I say that because Kawhi, he like tore his ACL or something. So I don't know if he's gonna be back next season like at all. It's just gonna be the Paul George show. So there's that. We got Blake, who's re-signed for 1 year with the Nets, I think. Maybe it was 2, I don't know. And Luka and Trey both signed crazy big contracts, like $207 million, I think. Maybe Luka's was bigger, I don't know. But I'm happy about that. The Hawks, they got a franchise point guard, and the one of the faces of like in the future of the league faces, along with the Mavericks. It's good for them because I think when they got eliminated, all this stuff was coming back out around how it actually was, and like their front office and stuff, it looked dysfunctional. So I'm glad that Luka is gonna do 5 years because I have like 2 of his jerseys, so I would have hated to have to like go get a new one. And I think that's pretty much it for the extensions. So let's get on to moves that might happen. I think these moves might get done or they're going to happen near the deadline or something. I'm going to try and do these quickly because there's not that many. But this might happen next offseason. But Dame, he might demand out soon. This is like the first year where it's not obvious he wants to stay loyal. And good for him because the Blazers have not done a good job giving him a championship team. So good for Dame if he does get out of there and go to like, I'd like to see him with like the Sixers or Mavericks or something. I say Mavericks just because I want to see Luka get some help. I'd even like to see like Donovan Mitchell with more help because Rudy Gobert as a second star it's not a championship winning team. Goran Dragic, he would be an idealistic signing for the Mavericks because he's not worth that much and he's not like a long shot. So I really do think he might be with the Mavericks because he said he does not want to be with the Raptors, which is pretty funny. And Raptor fans are mad at him for some reason, but whatever. Siakam, he might get moved. Warriors, Kings, and maybe Celtics or something. I don't know. We're still waiting on Dennis Schroeder's deal and maybe a Lauri Markkanen, but those guys, it's just kind of funny how that happened. They had bigger deals, but now they might not even get there. Ben Simmons, I expect Ben Simmons to be on the Sixers to start the year, but he's not gonna play a game. Like he's gonna sit out until he's traded. That like what Harden was doing this past season with the Rockets. So I think that's gonna happen. And Buddy Hield, he might get moved. He was supposed to go to the Lakers, which I'm glad didn't happen because I don't want Kyle Kuzma on my team. He's probably gonna get moved somewhere like the Sixers is the biggest name right now. But yeah, those are all the moves pretty much. And I think this wraps up the video, so please like and subscribe. I'll add on another part if some big move happens before I upload this, but that's it for now. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video.